Ooh, all right. Well, if you're a listener of CFP Car Foundation Pod, I am a fan of Upper Deck and I am a fan of the AEW line. I think in the sense of delivering product on a timely basis and having product come out, um, both on time and relevant to what's going on. I think they have failed in that sense. Um, I mean, it's taken, months and months for certain products to come out, and we've seen, different issues kind of pop up with certain things, now whether that's production problems on their end, as, I know they've spoken about before. There could be some issues with, rosters and different things kind of happening, but other than that, I think they have failed in that sense. Where I don't think they have failed is the product design and the products that we have had, I think, have been home runs when they have come out. I'm a big fan of the flagship products that have been released. I think they've done a good job with that. I love the metal product that came out, although it took, like a year or so to get it. Once we did get it in our hands, I think everyone loved it. And I think the happiest I think everyone's been has been with the Allura that just came out. Again, another product that took about a year or so to come out, but once it got out, people have been thrilled with it. I think the quality control has been better. The different inserts and stuff, although people aren't crazy about them, I think they do have some collectability there. The parallels look great, the autos look great. So, while I don't think it's been a complete failure, and I won't say it's been a failure, I think there have been aspects of the license that have failed.
Yeah, I don't think Upper Deck has necessarily underachieved with the AEW brand. When you look at it, I mean, they've had some, there's obviously been issues, but everyone's had issues with coming out of the pandemic and supply chain issues and production issues and things like that. And I know that if we compare them to Topps and Panini, of course, they're getting their cards out on time. Why can't Upper Deck do it? But I did hear a pretty informative podcast with a representative from Upper Deck. I think it was Jeremy Lee Sports Cards Live, and they talked about how their entire entertainment series was really behind schedule due to a whole bunch of production issues. And I think they've overachieved because they never gave up on the AEW brand. I mean, they could have scrapped some of these sets and maybe rebuilt them or something like that, but they still pushed them out. They still released them for us. And even knowing it maybe doesn't match up the current timeline of AEW, some of these sets, because they are older and coming out, as a fan of AEW, it's still a new company. We can still look at those cards and re-enjoy and reimagine all those cool memories, because that's what cards are about, right? Memories and evoking emotions and things like that. So we can go back through some of these card sets and relive those AEW memories, look at the original roster of AEW, how it changed and morphed and everything like that. I don't think they've underachieved. I think if anything, they're like overachieving. It's a brand new, they've put so much effort into AEW as a new entertainment entity. And AEW is also like they're working together to create a whole new thing. And I think it's really special. And then for me as a card collector, I think it's awesome. I don't collect hockey cards, but through learning about hockey cards, you learn a whole lot more about Upper Deck and AEW cards, what you can expect and everything too. So I think it's also expanding my knowledge of cards and the industry and everything like that too. So I'm actually pretty impressed with Upper Deck and everything they've done.
I'll start off by just saying I love AEW and I love AEW cards, but um, have they failed? In how long have they had the license? Two to 3 years. Yeah, I think they failed, to be honest. You just look at Panini, and I know Panini are a bigger company, arguably. Um, and you look at when they took over the WWE license and how they boom, 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 they got the products out. It was up to date. Do you know what I mean? It's just a little bit lackluster for me in terms of how behind they are, and I think it's been the same with hockey as I'm as far as I've heard and I'm aware. I think hockey's behind as well,
Yeah, they are.
and yeah, it just kind of just makes them as a company seem a little bit less on the same sort of spectrum as a Tops or as a Panini. And you can blame the pandemic and things like that, but even when they were sort of still using that as an excuse, I just felt like we were quite far removed from the pandemic and the effects of it, that they were just kind of BSing us to a degree. But as I said, don't let that take anything away from the stuff that they bring out. On the whole, I think has been really impressive. And like Johnny said, it's when you get it in hand a lot of the time. Metal for me was a big one. Got it in hand, bought another box, got it in hand, bought another box. Do you know what I mean? So um, I'm impressed with the product, just not the way they've gone about getting it out. So I would say they failed. Yeah.
I'm on the wrong side of the fence here. I'm gonna just pitch one thing to you guys, but then maybe I'll come to your side too. But my only thing is, when we look at the wrestling card boom that recently happened, there were like there was a major card release that really triggered it. I'm pretty sure AEW had a huge part of that. That first initial AEW release, our excitement was incredible for that.
It was,
and
yeah.
even knowing it did die down, you know, if we look at our excitement now with the Lure coming out and Metal that just came out, I don't know. I still think they've hit the mark, but I can agree with both
I
of
agree.
you too. Oh,
And I think if you look at it as a whole and you look at the question, and is Upper Deck has Upper Deck AEW been a failure? I don't think it has been a failure in the sense that it's still out, it's still around, the
We
license
still
is still
care.
there, they are still producing product, there's still
Yeah.
stuff to come, and I think they've gotten better each release going. So I would say wouldn't say it's a failure necessarily. It's a work in progress.
Okay, I think you might have convinced us, Graham. Yeah, I would agree with that. We like AEW cards. We
Yeah.
don't want them to fail. We want the products on time and a little bit more up to date. But does that make them a failure? I guess not. No. So yeah, I think you've convinced us.
Upper Deck AEW, hire me. I'm your best salesperson.